Hey guys, be sure to check out the Mortar Pod, our weekly video podcast, and also check out the tutorial video for my board game, Travelers of Storia. Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another M15 Swiss Draft. Rare we've opened, Life's Legacy, not the pick. I'm looking at... I've heard the argument for Willforged Golem first pick because it keeps you open. I'm not really sold on that necessarily. I guess I'm looking at the Hunt the Weak. It's a pretty strong removal spell. I think I like it more than the Pillar of Light. Venom Sliver's a fine card as well. Invasive Species too, but let's take the Hunt the Weak. Get some nice removal in green. Follow-up pick. We've got Into the Void, Juggernaut, Wall of Mulch, Borderland Marauder, Inferno Fist are the cards I'm looking at. So remaining in green, I guess Wall of Mulch. Not the exciting second pick here. So really I guess it's Juggernaut, Into the Void, Inferno Fist. Inferno Fist is a great card. I love every aspect of it. I like Juggernaut. I think we're just taking the Inferno Fist. I like Into the Void a lot. I do like this card. I think it's very powerful. I think Inferno Fist is more up my alley. It's a little bit less, well, I don't know. It's tough to say. Into the Void probably potentially stronger sometimes, but Inferno Fist you can throw damage at a person's face. I think that's the main reason why I'm picking it here over the Into the Void. Okay, Covenant of Blood, great card. Gather Courage, good. Serve the Masses, good. Infant Path Mage, okay. Coral Barrier, pretty good. Really, I think the three best cards are Gather Courage, Serve the Masses, and Covenant, and I think Covenant's probably just got the best, my personal favorite at least. So could end up black-green, could end up black-red. Black-red I guess I would prefer because you get to just throw a bunch of damage and removal spells at people and then beat them with cheap creatures. So yeah, I think we're just going to take the Covenant of Blood here. It's a decent sign, pick 3. Alright, Heat Ray. Like that card a lot. I think that's the pick here. Other pretty decent cards, Swift Claw, Void Snare. Sacred Armory I have played. I like this card. It's a good limited card. Restock, definitely playable. But yeah, Heat Ray, removal, gotta go that direction. Okay, now pick is Zathrad's Slyblade, Forge Devil, Rotfeaster Maggot. I think it's probably Slyblade or Forge Devil. I do like Forge Devil a lot. I think it's a fantastic card, but I think Slyblade's going to get the go-ahead here, especially with the Inferno Fist. Yeah, giving First Strike and Death Touch. Sometimes this card, late game, just completely clogs up people's plan. I know it seems like an overpriced 2-1, but First Strike Death Touch is a pretty insane ability combination. So let's take it. Okay, pretty decent white cards in here. Not super impressed with Miner's Bane. Could just take the Citadel in case I get a Scrapyard Mongrel or something like that. I'm really not passing anything I'm going to be super sad about passing. I mean, Kinsbale Skirmisher, if I end up white, would be the one card I'd want to ensure I get, but if I end up in red, I'm certainly not sad if I miss a Miner's Bane, and if I miss out on white, I'm not really missing out on any of those picks, so I think I'm just going to take the Darksteel Citadel for the chance that, no, it's okay, chance that I won it. Okay, I can take the Blastfire Bolt. Nothing else in here that's super good either. Divination is playable. Naturalize the sideboard card. Boonweaver Giant's kind of specific where you can play it. So I guess, yeah, Blastfire Bolt. It's on color, it's removal. Unmake the Graves. Tend to never play this card, and I probably have undervalued it for quite some time. How much better? Usually it's going to be good in, you know, like a Satyr Wayfinder deck, as 100,000 people in comments informed me. And they made a good point. But do I want it in a red-black deck? Might just want the Rummaging Goblin because card draw is useful. I guess I'll go with the Unmake. I don't know. I never play it. It makes Necromancer's Assistant a better card. Let's take the Crippling Blight here over the Hot Soup. I like removal, and red. Oh, we got the Assistant, and red-black is where you want to be at when you're doing that. So, all right, getting rewarded for picking the Unmake the Graves. You can take the Necromancer's Assistant here, which is a fine creature. All right, Table to Gather Courage is kind of surprising. It's a good card. Not a huge Zoffshade fan, but it is a way to finish a game, so I guess we'll take it. All right, second Necromancer's Assistant. I think I'm actually a little bit more impressed with the Sacred Armory. I've come to like that card quite a bit. It really can throw off combat math for your opponent, so I'm gonna take it over the Assistant here. I think it's a better card. Necrobite is totally fine. It's playable. We'll let someone play Meditation Puzzle. All right, so pretty good pack one. Pretty sure we're gonna really try and make this. Let's make these a little bit smaller. Make this red-black thing work. But so far, pretty good removal spells. Open a Kurkesh, which is nice. We do have a Sacred Armory, so I guess what, for 3 mana I can give +2/+0. It's not that bad, I guess. It's also a 4 mana 4/3, so that's good. Typhoid Rat's a Cursed Spirit also in here. Cursed Spirit arguably better than Kurkesh, but I think I want the Kurkesh anyway, mostly because it's efficiently costed red creature, which I like. And it's rare. Can't argue against that. Take the Kurkesh. All right, now we get to follow up with probably Ulcerate. There's also Borderland Marauder in here, Krinko's Enforcer. We are very short on creatures, admittedly, but Ulcerate is a 1 mana removal spell. A little bit too good to pass up here. I like the Paragon as well, but I think Ulcerate's what I want. That's just a little bit too efficiently costed to pass up. All right, Sliver Hive Lord, nice. I think we're just going to take the Torch Fiend. Could also take the Belligerent Sliver, but we've already got a couple 3-drop creatures. I'm kind of in the market for cheap things. So at this point, I'm going to take the Torch Fiend. Get the 2 drops going. There we go. All right, so now, geez, good cards for other colors, but pretty easy Child of Night. Get another 2-drop. Excellent with the Inferno Fist. But yeah, pretty easy pickup there, I think. All right, number 2. There's also Endless Obedience, which works well with the Necromancer's Assistant, but yeah, it's Child of Night versus Torch Fiend, and Child of Night's just better, I think, for the most part, unless you're up against the heavy artifact deck. But Child of Night's also very good with the Sacred Armory, so got that going for us. It also doesn't die to Fester Gloom, which is kind of nice if we end up with one of those. Okay, so Bronze Sable is another 2-drop. Shadowcloak Vampire is okay. I may just want the cheaper creatures to support all of this removal that we have. Can just tempo people out if we pick up enough cheap stuff. Shadowcloak's fine. LSV has kind of been saying this is a really subpar card, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. I feel like I've played against it and with it a few times. I've won with it. I've probably lost against it, but I feel like in a deck that's got heavy removal, I'd probably rather just have cheap guys, you know? We're already pretty heavy removal. Okay, Hammerhand's a nice aggressive card, but I think we're just in Forge Devil territory. There's infinite X1s I want to kill, so let's start getting the cheap dudes to go along with our cheap removal. All right, Unmake the Graves, number 2. I guess we're not super likely to play it, but I guess it makes the Necromancer's Assistance a little bit better. All right, there is a Typhoid Rat, so I think I'm going to take the Accursed Spirit. I like the evasiveness, and we've already got the Kurkesh out of this pack, so why not? I think a Curse Spirit's a better card than the Shadowcloak Vamp, since it's got the built-in evasion, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to pay life, you pay one less mana. I think I like it more. Alright, could take the Maggot, I guess. Yeah, Maggot's fine. Kind of a non-bow with the old Unmake the Graves, but that's alright. We probably don't need to play 2 Unmake the Graves. Currently, we don't even need the Darksteel Citadel. Although the Citadel is kind of nice because, and I guess the Sable and Sacred Armory for that matter too. These are going to make Shrapnel Blast, if we see it, a lot more playable. Like, I would feel totally comfortable playing a Shrapnel Blast in a 3 artifact deck. Mind Rot, fine sideboard card at the very least. None of these cards really matter. Guess I'll cut red, so I'll just take the Wall of Fire. I did have someone play Fugitive Wizard against me in the last draft and did pretty good, so I'm going to hate it there. Alright, whatever. Whatever. Alright, so 21 cards actually main deck. It's Darksteel Citadel. Does not count as a actual playable spell. Ooh, Burning Anger. That's a really strong effect there. I guess we don't have anything broken with it yet. Kirkesh is pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you gotta take Burning Anger. How can you not? It's so strong. It's pretty awesome with Typhoid Rats too. Even though it's not dealing a ton of damage, getting that little Death Touch ping is pretty nice. Krenko's Enforcer would also be good, but yeah, let's take the Burning Anger. It's a great rare. Alright, I love Frenzied Goblin. I love Flesh to Dust too, though. Frenzied Goblin. I mean, Flesh to Dust is so strong. How can I pass it here? You can play a heavy removal deck and still be fine, in my opinion. So let's cut one of these Unmake the Graves, which are less useful, but take the Flesh to Dust. Alright. I like the Covenant, I think, more than the Ulcerate. Yeah, it's more expensive, but you can burn a face for 4 with it, so tough to deny the second Covenant of Bled. Alright, Generator Servant, second Inferno. I'm going to take the Inferno Fist. Yeah, we're short on creatures and we're high on removal, but I think the key point here is our removal actually burns face. So it makes it a bit better than just ordinary removal. Sign in Blood seems like the right pick here over the second Bolt, since we've got the double Child of Night to offset the Sign in Blood, and drawing cards seems wholly appropriate. So what's the first cut we're going to make? Maybe the Blastfire Bolt. I like the other removal we have more. Alright, great pickups here. Got the Generator Servant, got the Goblin Rough Rider. Guess Rough Rider fits the curve a little bit more, but Generator Servant can cheat spells out. It's another 2-drop. Guess Rough Rider's pretty good, though. Well, they're both good. Maybe the Servant's better. Deals less damage, but I mean, that's a bonus ability that's pretty good on it. So I think we take the Generator Servant. Leeching Sliver's fine, too, if we can table those Belligerent Slivers for sure, but so we're going to take the Generator Servant, and I think we're cutting... What are we cutting? Sacred Armory kind of looks like it sucks unless we really get some more cheap creatures. If we get more cheap creatures, it's pretty good. Carrying Crow, there we go. Nice little flyer. Alright, it's getting a little bit better. Guess we can cut the Citadel for now. We don't really have any rewards for it. So let's cut the Blastfire Bolt. Let's take the Carrion Crow. Can't really cut any creatures per se. Alright, could take the Lava Axe. Probably need the Blood Host a little bit more, just because we're short on creatures. I want to be threat heavy enough. What am I going to cut for the Blood Host? Maybe the Sign in Blood can get... I guess I have to make a couple cuts, don't I? Maybe we don't need to main deck the Crippling Blight, although Crippling Blight is pretty good. Maybe we don't need to main deck the Maggot, but I just said I don't want to cut creatures. Lava Axe burns face. I don't know. I might have wanted the Lava Axe. I do have some concerns about not having enough creatures. So I just want to make sure I've picked up enough where, you know, I've got a manageable amount. I guess Evolving Wilds, but I don't think I'm going to play it. So maybe I just hate Void Snare instead. Alright, Assistant number 2 seems fine. Belligerent Sliver we did end up tabling, which is fine as well. Hate the Path Mage. Yeah, I'm not going to play that. 3 Unmake the Graves, but I don't think any of them are making the deck. We'll have to take a look. I've got so much removal, and I got enough creatures, so I've actually got to make cuts, and I've just got a really strong deck, so we're going to have to figure this out. First thing, why don't we separate out creatures and spells. 16 creatures. Rotfeaster Maggot's still pretty good with the Assistant, and it's an actual threat, so that seems fine. The Assistant's not that good without the Unmake the Graves, but we've just got too much good removal to really do something about that. I guess we could cut the Crippling Blight, but I really do like Crippling Blight. Why do I have so many good playables? We didn't end up with a super synergistic deck. I mean, we didn't get any Nightfire Giants, and we're probably not running any of these Unmake the Graves, even though we have double Necromancer's Assistant. Just doesn't seem that important. I guess we can cut a Blood Host. It's not that he's bad, it's just not exactly what this deck needs to do. I could try and get away with the 16 land deck. I'm trying to think how dangerous that actually is. Mana sinks are Zoffshade, Kirkesh kind of. Covenants are pretty mana intensive. Heat Ray to a certain extent. Don't want to cut any more creatures. Don't really want to cut any of our spells. I could cut Sacred Armory, but I think it's actually good in here. We've got a bunch of little piddly creatures, and Sacred Armory really rewards you for Flood, so that's even another mana sink. I think we got to try and get away with 17 lands in here, sadly. I mean, Sacred Armory and Zoffshade don't work well together, because both of them require that you're pumping mana into them. But I don't think it's a big deal if I run them both. I mean, maybe I don't need the Sacred Armory because I've got double Inferno Fist, so I'm kind of already on a pump my dude's game plan. But I really have... I remember like wrecking somebody with Sacred Armory. The reason I like Crippling Blight, it gets rid of a blocker, which is just so nice for all of our cheap dudes. It's tough. It's tough decisions here. Let's cut the Sacred Armory and then maybe try 16 lands. I guess Zoffshade looks worse then, but what would I do over Zoffshade? I could do Sign in Blood maybe over the Zoffshade. Or maybe one Unmake the Graves over Zoffshade. This way, Necromancer's Assistant becomes better. We have 14 creatures, but 2 Necromancer's Assistant with Unmake could be really good. Gives us a little bit of additional value. And it doesn't quite do the same thing Sign in Blood does, but don't have to pay life either. I guess, see, the problem is Sign in Blood has the additional bonus of being able to hit your opponent. And that's a little bit too good to pass up, especially since we're pretty heavy, damage-based. What with double Inferno Fist, double Covenant of Blood, Burning Anger. This deck's alright. It's not amazing. It's pretty good. It has powerful effects and spells in it. I think the creatures are a little bit subpar, but they're acceptable. Kirkesh doesn't have any value if we take out the Sacred Armory. That's something I need to keep in mind. But the additional value he gives isn't that broken. It's 3 mana for +2/+0 rather than 4. And it has to be a red, so 2 and a red for +2/+0, which admittedly is decent. We don't have much evasion, so really it's like I feel like my removal is so important. We really are trying to capitalize on our cheap dudes to the best of our ability. Rotfeaster Maggot is really working well with the Necromancer's Assistant, but beyond that, it's not super amazing. "14 creatures with the Sign in Blood to draw cards is probably acceptable." I think I'm going to run it like this. Maybe I don't have enough finishers without the Zoffshade. My finishers are a Curse Spirit, you know, Carrion Crow. Zoffshade is at least like a big fat fatty when you have a bunch of mana. Kind of makes sense in this deck, but then again, it doesn't make sense if I'm running 16 lands, really, you know? Yeah, our creatures are... See, that really makes me want to play the Sacred Armory then. If we're not, you know what I mean? Like, if our creatures suck, then I should probably just play Sacred Armory. Because then at least, with all that mana, our guys are big. They are all inflatable. But then it like kind of like lends to the argument, well, why aren't you just, you know... I guess Sacred Armory with Burning Anger is kind of cool too. But why aren't you just running 17 lands then? And I guess it's because our curve is so low. Our mana sinks are Sacred Armory, Heat Ray, Covenants. I guess Zathrid Slyblade too. Jeez. How do I play 17 lands in here? I can't figure it out. I think I'm just going to run 16 lands. I really just can't decide on a cut. I like everything in this deck so much, I really can't cut anything and feel good about it. I don't want to cut any more creatures, we're already low enough. I don't want to cut any of our spells because they're all good, including the Crippling Blight, which lets us get by with all of our cheap dudes. I don't know. Or kill something. I think I'm just going to have to be content with this. Pretty decent deck, too. I've got more black than red, but I do need double red. What do they say? 9/7? Yeah, I think 9/7's fine. Combine groups, sort by convert mana cost. Yeah, I mean, this deck's pretty good. Could get mana screwed, but literally nothing looks like a good cut here. Nothing looks like a cut I'd be happy with. Belligerent Sliver, maybe? Then I'm down to 13 creatures, and that just feels totally irresponsible. I could do Crippling Blight. I'd keep going back to it. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm not happy about it. No, I think actually we want a red source, right? Because we're one short on that. Yeah, so now we have 9/8, which is fine, yeah. 9/8 is fine. Okay. All right, I'm going to run it like this. I got up to 17 lands. Could bite me in the butt, but remember, we do actually have we have quite a few mana sinks in here, so could also pan out for us. Yeah, I mean, Zoffshade's good with Burning Anger too. Jeez, I don't know. I feel like I'm just having a real hard time deciding how to make this deck work the best, because I really cannot decide. Everything looks good. Everything looks like could cut. I've got less than a minute left. I think I got to run it like this. I keep hemming and hawing and going back and forth between what's the best direction for this deck, and I can't decide. So I think I'm just going to run it like this, and see you round one.